Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to this Q&A session. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. So this is a Q&A session, and I'm here today to take your questions from the record keeping course that we attended last Saturday, a week ago from today. I'm here to take your questions. Good evening and welcome. If you have questions, please type them in the— Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Comment section. So this is a Q&A session. Please type your questions in the comment section and I'll be glad to take your questions. Good evening, Marianne. Good evening, Aino. Please type your questions and I'll be glad to take them. Good evening, everyone. I'm waiting for your questions to come in. I don't see any questions yet. Good evening. Good evening. Let me know if you have any questions, please. I don't see your questions yet. Good evening. Let me know if you have any questions, please. Okay, I see a question from Aino. She says, using Zoho, for instance, I have optical frames. Many of them. Do I group them because they all have codes? I know, okay, maybe you need to go and watch the class again. Somebody selling optical frames is selling products. So I'm not sure why you're asking about Zoho. because we learned how to do record keeping for services. We learned how to do for products. When we came to products, we even went further to define certain businesses that have many products, many customers. And I believe that's where optical frames falls in. Many customers come to buy from you. You want to track your inventory. So we talked about using Loyverse to track inventory, because the Zoho we learned doesn't track inventory. So I'm not quite clear why you're discussing Zoho as a product-based business. Maybe I don't understand why you're discussing Zoho. Please, I think you need to watch the course again. You start from the part where we talked about product-based businesses and the tools we recommended for them to use. I run an eye clinic and dispense frames. Okay, so you offer services and products. Okay, so I understand why you're talking about Zoho right now. Okay. Okay, so I understand why you're talking about Zoho. You run an eye clinic and you dispense frames. So it's a mix of products and services. All right. So yes, so I guess what you would do is to use Zoho, you're right. And then your iframes, we learned how to track our inventory. For those who don't want to use Loyverse, we learned how to use Google Sheets to track our inventory. So that's what I recommend for you. You use Zoho to do your invoicing and receipting and expenses, and then you track your inventory on Google Sheets. That's what I recommend for you. All right, do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions, please? Do we have any other questions, please? It's Q&A day. I only see 4 people. Okay, Falcon Farm says, please, which of the app is most suitable for a poultry that has 1,500 broiler capacity pen and 500 capacity laying beds, Zoho or Loyverse? Now, I always avoid to answer this kind of questions, and I'll say why. The reason why I avoid to answer is because once I answer one person about his own business, more and more people will start asking about their own business. So you realize we didn't come for a Q&A, we came for a personal consultation forum. Then somebody say, what of me, car wash? What of me, this? What of me, that? Before you know it, we're not taking questions, we're doing personal consultation. So, you know, that's where I worry when people start bringing in, answer my own business, answer my own business. I would rather prefer that we ask questions relating to the course and not exactly what should I use for my business. It's like this, it's like that, it's like that. So where I made the mistake was to answer maybe I know zone. So another person would ask his own. When I answer another one. So before you know it, the class is taken over by everybody seeking personal consultation for his business. And it's difficult to keep up, because that's why when I teach the course, I teach service businesses and product businesses. So I teach it in a way that it's clear and anybody can go and find where you fall into and use the tools. I taught 3 different tools. There's Zoho, there's Loyverse, there's Google Sheets. I believe that if you explore the 3 tools, you would find what you need to keep your records. Before we explored the tools, we first wrote out the way that the process flows for product-based business and service-based business. So here's what I'll advise Falcon Farms. Sit down and write the way your record keeping flows. What do you want to record? You want to record what? What records do you want to keep? Write out your flow, the way I wrote out the flow in the class. When you write out your flow and you go through the 3 tools we have learned, you would find what tool fits each of the processes you have written in your flow, right? So let's say, for example, in your flow, you have written, I don't know how you sell your own poultry. Maybe wholesalers come and buy 200 beds from you at once. I don't know. So let me just take that as an example, that they come to the farm and they buy 200, 100 beds at once. So maybe your flow starts from wholesalers come to the farm to buy beds. So that process, that first one you have written, what do you think in the 3 different software we have learned that you can use to record your sales? It's that simple. If you can write your flow and go through it, then you can answer the question how to record your, your sales or your transactions. I wouldn't want to answer you because it would disrupt the class. Everybody will write his own business and say, answer my own. Somebody will write, I'm a law firm that does this, that, tell me my own. Before you know, the next person, I'm a this, that. So before you know, the class is completely disrupted. So forgive me, I'm not able to take that question. I identify those kind of questions. They are like personal consultation questions, and we are not able to take them here. So someone says, Maria Otto says, using Loivers, how do you treat purchases? Do I have to add the quantities to the items, or I will use purchases and the items to be added automatically? Mariam Author, there's a function in Loivers that is called purchase orders. You only see it under the inventory section when you pay $25 for inventory. But inventory has a 14 days trial. You can click on it and activate the 14 days trial, and then you can raise purchase orders. That's how you add new quantities, by raising purchase orders in Loivers. So go and try it. It will cut off after 14 days. Then you pay your $25 and it will continue to work. So that's the part that tracks inventory. That's why I made it clear that you cannot track inventory in Loivers for free. Except you pay Loivers, you cannot use it to track inventory. Lewis Adiola says, I run a law firm. Charges for services rendered is not constant because a lot is based on different factors. I have tried working on the Zoho, but it seems it would have to work on the invoice for every client. What do you advise as the way out? Lewis Adiola, what I advise is to create the services that you offer. So you offer, maybe, example, CSC registration, you offer litigation services, you offer, I don't know, whatever different legal services. So you can create them with just random prices, maybe 100K, and save them. Then when you want to invoice a customer or a client, I know you call them clients, you pick that service and notice that the amount box is editable. So for every client you're invoicing, Lewis Adiola, you can edit the amount box and put the amount that you want to, and then complete the invoice. It's that simple. It's editable. Please go and check it. So at the point of invoicing, I can override the amount that I have saved there and then put whatever I want there. It's that simple. Thank you. All right, so I've answered all the questions I'm seeing here. If there are more questions, I'll be glad to answer. So this is typically what happens in a Q&A day. A lot of people don't show up, and on that day, they wanted to kill you with questions, and you say, oh, go and practice more and come back with your questions. But you just come and find 4, 5, 10 people out of a class of over 1,000 people. So it is what it is. I'll take the questions that I find. Yes, Edie Purple. Yes, that's exactly what to do. Create your services. When you try to invoice, you override the amount. Thank you, Lewis Adiola. Thank you. So I'm waiting for any more questions. Okay, so there's Margaret Akonde. As a manufacturer of skincare products, we sell at different prices to end users and distributors. How do we achieve this using Loivers, since it's just a space for one price? No, Margaret, Loivers is not just a space for one price. That's not how Loivers is. Let me see if I can share my screen and show you. Loivers is not just a space for one price. No, Loivers allows you to create your different prices. So you can create your distributor, sub-distributor, end user, your different prices. You can create them in Loivers. So I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if I can sign into Loivers. See if I have any account signed in on Loivers, just to show you how it works. Okay. So I'm in Loivest now and I want to create an item. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Margaret Akonde, can you see my Loivest screen? Margaret, please respond if you can see my Loivest screen showing. If you can see my screen, Margaret, can you respond so that I can go ahead and show what I want to show you. I don't know if she can see. She's not responding anymore. Okay, yes, she can see my screen. All right, so on my screen, you can see create item. You can see that I can create item on my screen, yes. So in this place where I can create item, please go down and notice that it allows me to create variants. Look at this option. So let's say I create an item called cocoa butter cream. Let me click create it. Cocoa butter cream. Now I can go down here and click on add variants, right? And I can use the variants to say, this is wholesale, right? I can add another option. This is distributor price. This is end user, end user price, or whatever name you want to call your price, or retail price. I think that's what it's called, retail price. So wholesale, I want to sell it at 1.2. Distributor, I will sell to them at 1.3. Retail, I will sell at 1.7. Right? Okay, no. I don't think I used the right option. Wait, let me see. There's a place in Loivest. I think that's it. Yes, that's it. I think I didn't use the right. Let me do that again. Add variants. Then I can call. I can say prices. So I come here and I say wholesale. I guess yes. Is now I got it right. Retail. Hit enter. Distributor. Hit enter, and I save. Yes. When I do that, it now allows me to create price for each of them. So wholesale, I want to sell at 1.2. Retail, I want to sell at 1.7. Distributor, I want to give them at 1.5. Yeah, right? So it allows me to create different price options for one product. So that's the option called variance. You can use that option to create different prices for maybe colors, sizes, distributor, whatever it is, you can use that option. So I guess I answered your question, Margaret. So Keide Oye says, I created 2 stores on Loivest. I imputed items on the 2 stores. When making sales, the items can't be placed in the other store. Only one store seems to function. How do I go about it? No, Keide. When you logged in, the first thing that happens when you're logging in on a device, it will ask you to pick the store you want to log into. It is you who picked the store that you're logging into, and you are selling from that store. A device can only be logged into one particular store at a time. If you own 2 shops and you come in the morning, there's a particular shop you walked into that you're selling from. So that's why you're selling from that one. You can log out and log into the second store. So it's what you logged into that it is selling. You logged into that is selling for you. You can't log into 2 stores on your device. You have to tell it where you are logged in. All right, so David Ejagba says, how can I create different branches or shops in Zoho? Go to your settings. Go to your settings. My screen is open. Go to your different stores. When you go to settings, it allows you, look at it here on my screen, stores. I can add a store. Look at it here. I can add a store. It's that simple. Go to settings and add a store. But I don't like the questions that show that we haven't explored the app. We're just throwing questions at me about the functionality. These are very simple tools that I would please beg that we go and explore. Questions are big. I beg, answer me before I explore. So if I see those questions, I'll skip them, because we had 1 week to go and play around it won't take 30 minutes to click on every button on this software. They are very simple tools. Very, very simple. Look at Loyverse on the face here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options only to click on. It doesn't take 30 minutes to hover around the software. All right. David says, I already have a database of my customers in an Excel sheet. How do I import? Okay, David, same answer. Please go and hover around Loyverse. It's so simple. I also reminded us that Loyverse is a cloud software that has very useful guide. If you just do a Google search, how to import customers in, it will show you. It will show you. All these tools are cloud-based. They have simple guide. They are very, very easy to navigate. If you take a few minutes, you would find the answers to all your questions. Asking about importing customers, if I were you, I'll just go to the customer section and I'm sure I'll see an import button there. It's very simple. IBPED says, when you talk about tax inclusive, e.g. selling price is 2,000, VAT is 150. Do I enter 3,225 as selling price? Sorry, I don't understand your question. You gave example of 2,000 and 150. I don't know how it became 3,225 because if I add 2,000 and 150, I get 2,150. I don't understand how you arrived at 3,225. Someone says, I couldn't input VAT in Zoho, but I taught it that day. I showed you how to go to the settings section and turn on your VAT. That means you didn't turn it on, IniPepo. Could it be because I logged in via my phone instead of laptop? No. In all the cases, you can go to the settings section and turn on VAT. If you don't turn it on, you cannot impute it. So please go to settings section, turn on your VAT. It's not just turning on, you need to create it. You create it and put the percentage. Yes, so, okay, IBPED is saying, okay, sorry, 2,150. When you talk about tax inclusive, e.g. selling price is this. Okay, so what's the question? Do I enter 2,150? So there's price, VAT inclusive and VAT exclusive. So when you say VAT is included in something, it means the VAT is already inside. When you say VAT is excluded, it means VAT is not there. And you can use any price and call it VAT inclusive or VAT exclusive. I can say I'm selling something at 2,000 Naira, and I'll tell you it is VAT inclusive. It means my VAT is already there inside. I can tell you it is VAT exclusive. It means I've not put VAT on it. So that's how it works. So there's nobody forcing you to use 2,150 or 2,000. Decide what you want to use and decide whether you want to term it as VAT inclusive or VAT exclusive. Thank you. No, IBPED, I'm not in a position to advise what you should use. You determine how you want to do the pricing in your business. Whether you want to price at 2,150 or 2,000, it's your decision. There are no laws to it. You decide how you want to price your VAT inclusive or VAT exclusive. There are no rules to it. It's your decision for your business. I hope that this is clear. I can decide to sell a course for 5,000 Naira. And when I finish selling for 5,000, inside that 5,000, I'll remove VAT and go and pay. I can decide to sell a course for 5,375, add the tax on top and go and pay. Nobody makes the rules. You decide. There are no rules about it. You decide what you want. Yes, David, I know you use Zoho. I'm saying that Zoho is also a very, very, very simple software. If you go to the customer section, you will find where to import customers. It's a very simple software. So let's just check that that function is there. It's a very simple software. And if it's not there, it means they want you to leave the free version and go to their other paid tools. They have Zoho Books that is paid for, right? So they want you to leave there. So I would naturally go to customers, right? And then when I come to customers, if I click on new, it will try to create customers for me one by one. So what you want to do is to import. Look at it, I already found it. Look at it on my screen. David, it didn't take me 1 minute to find it, and I've never used the function. All I did was just click my mouse around the screen, which is all I'm encouraging you people to do. Just open these tools. They are very stupid, simple tools, and just hover your mouse around. Look at it, I found it, import contacts. I just clicked my mouse around the screen, looking for where the option could be. Okay. All right, so do we have any more questions? I'm waiting for your questions, please. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions, please? Any more questions, please? Do we have any more questions, please? Do we have any more questions, please? Do we have any more questions? All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll call it a day. There are no further questions for me. Thank you so much, everyone who came to the Q&A session. Have a good night. I'll end the session now.